This trash bag you wear is probably worth less than the water I just spilled. Clean it up, old man." The voice, sharp and cold as ice, cut through the quiet hum of the Grand Majestic Hotel lobby in Chicago. Caroline Astor flicked her wrist, sending droplets from her glass onto the freshly polished floor near the janitor's feet. Her disgust was a visible thing. The old janitor simply looked down, his shoulders slumping. But Caroline had no idea who she had just tried to humiliate, and she was about to learn a lesson that money could never buy. Arthur was 70 years old. Most men his age were enjoying retirement, but Arthur found peace in the simple, honest work of being a janitor. He loved the quiet mornings at the Grand Majestic, the smell of polish, the satisfaction of seeing the marble floors gleam. He was invisible to most of the wealthy guests who paraded through the lobby, and he preferred it that way. It allowed him to observe, to understand the true character of people when they thought no one of consequence was watching. Caroline Astor, a 35-year-old tech executive, was a frequent guest. She moved through the world as if she owned it, her expensive heels clicking a rhythm of impatience on the floor. To her, the staff were not people, they were functions. The bellhop was a pair of hands for her luggage, the receptionist a voice to fulfill her demands, and the janitor, Arthur, was just part of the background, someone to clean up her messes. Then there was Maria, a 22-year-old waitress in the hotel's cafe. She was working 2 jobs to save up for her dream of attending a hospitality management school. Unlike the guests, Maria saw Arthur. She saw the kindness in his eyes, the gentle way he'd nod a good morning, the pride he took in his work. She often saved a warm pastry for him from the breakfast buffet, a small act of kindness in a world that often forgot men like him. Caroline's contempt for the staff grew with each stay. One afternoon, she called the hotel manager, Mr. Henderson, to her suite. She pointed a perfectly manicured finger at a microscopic smudge on the window. "This is unacceptable," she declared. "I pay for perfection. That old janitor is clearly incompetent. I want him disciplined." Mr. Henderson, a man more concerned with appeasing wealthy clients than supporting his own staff, immediately found Arthur. In the middle of the lobby, he reprimanded him loudly, treating him like a disobedient child. "We can't have these mistakes, Arthur. Mrs. Astor is a valued guest." Arthur just nodded, his face calm, though Maria, watching from the cafe entrance, saw the hurt flash in his eyes. She felt a hot surge of anger, but she was just a waitress. What could she do? The next day, Maria decided she could do something. She started to subtly watch Caroline's movements. When she saw Caroline heading towards a certain area, Maria would quickly find a reason to be there first, wiping down a table or picking up a fallen napkin, ensuring everything was perfect before the demanding guest could find fault. It became a silent game between them, a small act of rebellion and protection. Arthur noticed. One morning, as Maria handed him his usual coffee, he smiled, a genuine warm smile that reached his tired eyes. "Thank you, Maria, for everything." He didn't need to say more. She understood. Their simple friendship was a quiet comfort in the cold, impersonal luxury of the hotel. But Caroline was determined to find a reason to complain. Her next move was more malicious. She left her expensive silk scarf on a chair near where Arthur was cleaning. Later, she retrieved it and marched to the front desk, claiming a dark stain had appeared on it from his filthy cleaning cart. She held up the scarf for everyone to see. There was indeed a small dark mark on it. "This is an heirloom. It's ruined," she shouted, her voice echoing in the vast lobby. "I demand to be compensated for the damages, and I want that man fired immediately. I will not stay in an establishment that employs such careless, decrepit staff." Mr. Henderson rushed over, his face pale with panic. He looked at the scarf, then at Arthur, who stood silently by his cart, looking confused. He knew the cart was always spotless. He would never be so careless. But it was his word against a wealthy guest's. The manager took a deep breath. "Arthur," he started, his voice full of false regret, "I think it's time we discuss your retirement." It was a cruel, public firing. Maria felt her heart break for the old man who had shown nothing but dignity. The final, explosive confrontation happened the following morning. Arthur was working his last day, quietly mopping a section of the floor, his mind heavy with the injustice of it all. As he moved his cart, the edge of it gently nudged a small table where Caroline was seated, causing a few drops of water from her glass to slosh onto the saucer. It was nothing, a tiny, insignificant accident. But for Caroline, it was the final insult. She shot up from her chair, her face a mask of rage. "You incompetent old fool!" she screamed, her voice drawing the attention of everyone in the lobby. Before anyone could react, she grabbed her own glass filled with ice water and with a look of pure malice threw its entire contents directly at Arthur's face and chest. The shock was immediate. Ice cubes clattered to the floor. Water dripped from Arthur's white hair, soaking the collar of his simple gray uniform. He stood frozen, not from the cold, but from the sheer venom of the attack. The lobby fell into a stunned, horrified silence. But the silence was broken by Maria. She rushed from the cafe, not with a towel for Caroline, but for Arthur. She stood directly between the furious woman and the humiliated old man, gently dabbing at his wet shirt with a napkin. She then turned to face Caroline, her dark eyes blazing with a fire that Caroline had never seen in a